I see your dog. Nice.
Yeah, we can start. I've started the live stream.
Okay, great. So welcome everyone. This is the second week in our session on spirituality and trauma. My name's Maria McNamara, and I use she, her pronouns. And I did last week's session as well, and I'll probably touch on a little recap of that as we go along. But let's do some introductions first and just see who you are, where you are, and maybe what drew you to doing this. Anybody want to start?
Hi, Maria. Since I have my microphone open,
Okay.
This is Okogyaman in Montevideo, and I'm glad to be with you again. I really appreciated last week's session, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Dennis Darling, Montevideo, and I'm here now.
Okay. And Trista, where are you?
I'm in Montevideo as well, and yeah, I'm just always up for trying new things, adding more tools to my toolbox, and I appreciated last week as well.
Thanks.
And I'm Blake in Minneapolis for one night only. But
And I'm here in St. Paul. So I guess I want to start out with a story which involves my oldest brother. I have 4 brothers. My oldest brother, Paul, is a widower and the father of triplets. And I remember this story from when his kids were very young. He lives in a part of Massachusetts that is very woodsy and watery, and he has a wooden deck and a big opening sliding glass door in the back. And one afternoon when his kids were quite young, a bird flew into the sliding glass windows and just lay there on the deck. And it went through a cycle of like shaking and convulsing that looked like death throes, and then periods of stillness, and that repeated over and over and over again. And he was able to keep his kids from going out there and trying to rescue the bird. And he had given up on the bird. He assumed that it was literally dying. But eventually, in one of those death throes, the bird was able to right itself, and it flew off into the dusk. And so that natural processing of trauma is something that we have lost as humans, or is often denied to us as humans. We don't allow ourselves to have that, that the visceral feeling of shaking and physical processing. And I'm just curious if anybody has experienced that deep processing, physical processing of trauma, of uncontrollable shaking that our bodies are programmed to do. Yeah, it's not something that is much encouraged or known in Western society and Western medicine. So a lot of what I used last week was based on the work of Peter Levine, and I just want to read a couple of quotes from his book, Waking the Tiger, which is kind of a seminal work on the physicality and the spirituality of trauma. And the first quote is actually from the Gnostic Gospels by Elaine Pagels. And it says, if you bring forth that which is within you, then that which is within you will be your salvation. If you do not bring forth that which is within you, then that which is within you will destroy you. And then there's another one. The lively world of our emotions, fears, and responses is like a great forest with its fauna. We experience those feelings as though they were wild animals, bolting through the foliage of our thick being, timidly peering out in alarm, or slyly slinking and cunningly stalking, linking us to our unknown selves. And that quote is from Paul Shepard, who is like a deep ecologist and did a lot with human evolutionary biology. So just to recap a very little bit about what we did last week, we talked a little bit about the essence of community in healing trauma, and especially communities that go beyond our Western tradition. And this is also from Peter Levine's book, Waking the Tiger. And he says, after the 1994 Los Angeles earthquake, it was those families, often from third world countries, who camped, ate, and played together that fared better than many middle-class families. Those who remained isolated, obsessively watching replays of the disaster, listening to interviews with geologists claiming the big one is yet to come, were much more susceptible to traumatic effects than those who supported each other in community. So we don't heal trauma in isolation. We heal it in community. And the other concept from last time was the fact that we have two brains. It can be said that humans have two brains, one in the gut, the enteric brain, and then the upstairs brain, sitting within the vaulted dome of the cranium. These two brains are in direct communication with each other through the hefty vagus nerve. If we go with the numbers, 9 sensory afferent nerves to every 1 motor efferent nerve, our guts apparently have more to say to our brains by a ratio of 9-to-1 than our brains have to say to our guts. So essentially, trauma is stuck energy. You know, it's energy that has to be released through shaking, through, something that we don't plan, or through practices like Yoga Nidra that we do engage with intentionally. So either one, gives us that option to process and to make sense and to heal. Any thoughts on this? Or has it, is it something that you've had experience with? And welcome to Barbara.
Maria, what I do think about is the notion of, gut feelings and gut communication. And so I don't exactly know how to interpret that or when I'm getting that. So Is that to be understood as intuition, or I just got this sudden feeling, or this?
Yes, exactly. That's the communication from, the viscera to the thinking brain. And I'll bet your dog understands it perfectly well. So to go into Yoga Nidra, and the session we'll be doing is just over 30 minutes. I think it's 31 minutes. And then we'll have more time for just conversation afterward. But Yoga Nidra, it's a very ancient meditation practice, and it supports psychological, physical, and spiritual healing. And the term comes from two Sanskrit words, yoga, obviously, which can refer to the view, the path, and the means by which you experience your interconnections with yourself and with others. And then Nidra, which refers to changing states of consciousness, such as waking, sleeping, dreaming, which includes sensations, emotions, thoughts, and images. And so it's a way of connecting to ourselves and to others and to the world around us. And what it does, it hopefully teaches us to respond rather than to just react, to blend more of our gut feelings with our thinking brains. So we're just not acting out of our limbic system all the time. So does anybody have any specific concerns or questions about going into this process? I mean, the one that we will do tonight was developed by a Western scientist. Her name is Jamie Marich, and she developed it specifically for as a trauma-informed practice. And there are many others that you can access on the web. So she will, when we start listening to her, she will tell you, the best way to make yourself relaxed and comfortable and get into a place where you can just let your mind be at ease and your body relax for the next 30 minutes. So if anybody needs to make any preparations for that, you're welcome to do that now. I mean, grab a blanket or anything that will make you comfortable.
Her, she's a veteran police officer. Of course you do not know that.
Okay. All right. Blake, you want to bring up the video?
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Jamie Marich, and I'd like to thank you for joining me today for a Yoga Nidra experience. You can participate in this Yoga Nidra experience in various ways, lying down or sitting down. If you're lying down, please get whatever you may need to feel as comfortable as possible. Blankets, even some cushions under the knees to support the back may feel nice, and a gentle cushion under your head, nothing too high. For some people, laying down feels a little too much for a long period of time. We will be in this for about 25 minutes. So sitting, preferably against a wall or in a chair, is an option. Unlike some other forms of meditation, I would ill-advise you to sit up straight with nothing against your back. One of the glories of Yoga Nidra is to be as comfortable as possible. So please do what you need to do to get comfortable and to also ensure for your safety during this practice. I will be giving you some opportunities throughout the practice to close your eyes, but know that that is completely your choice. If you feel it's more appropriate to keep a soft gaze, you may do that because sometimes people struggle with closed eyes for a long period of time. And also be advised that I will be leaving you in silence for a few periods throughout this meditation. Nothing will last longer than about 30 seconds of silence. So with those preliminaries out of the way, I encourage you to get comfortable and enjoy your Yoga Nidra experience. So take a few moments, if you haven't already, and wiggle around a little bit. Wiggle, stretch in the position that you're in, just to work out any surface tension that may be present before we come into a place of stillness. Think about how a baby, a dog, or a cat moves, not afraid of what anyone else may think. And take any movements you need over the next 30 seconds or so in order to more fully sink into the stillness. You are now invited to close your eyes as we begin our Yoga Nidra meditation. If closing the eyes doesn't feel quite right to you today, you may keep them open, although please consider a soft gaze. If they happen to close naturally on their own throughout the meditation, you always have permission to open them again if you feel unsteady, lost, or ungrounded. Spend a few moments to notice your physical body, making contact with the surface or the surfaces where you're sitting or lying down. As you breathe naturally, really let yourself sink into this connection. Remember that you cannot do anything wrong in this process. As you let the mind begin to settle. Without forcing or striving, take a nice deep breath in with the nose and then let go naturally with the mouth. You are always permitted to make a sound of letting go as you exhale. Follow this flow 2 or 3 more times. making a deliberate intention to let go of any holding with each exhale. As I breathe in, I know I am breathing in. As I breathe out, I know I am breathing out. Make friends with your breath and let it take you deeper into meditation. I now invite you to bring the intention that you developed during our work together into your full awareness. Please say that intention to yourself 3 times. If a specific intention is not coming up, that's okay. Be open to what may be revealed naturally as we continue with Yoga Nidra. We will now transition into the practice of deliberate clench and release. If you cannot have undue pressure on the head for any reason, due to hypertension or perhaps glaucoma, please go gently with this practice and do not engage with any of the breath holds. And if for ever any reason it doesn't feel optimal for you to do the hold with the breath, you can opt out of that. To begin, make fists if that is available to you, and squeeze them tightly. Now hold the fists in this clench position and squeeze them tightly, tightening them. Hold, hold, and then let go. Release. Following this release, continue to breathe and really notice the sense of letting go with each exhale. Each exhale. I'll now invite you to clench the entire upper body. On your next inhale, clench and tighten the fists, the arms, the shoulders, the face, the chest, the stomach. Tighten them all. Hold, hold, clench, and then let go. Release, release. Now continue to breathe. Breathe and notice the sense of letting go with each exhale. each exhale. I will now invite you to clench the entire lower body. On your next inhale, clench and tighten the buttocks, the hips, the legs, the feet. Clench them all. Hold, hold, squeeze, and then let go. Let go fully and completely. Now fully allow yourself to experience the physical sensation of release. Continuing to breathe. Continuing to notice. Remember that you cannot do this wrong. As we deepen our practice, take a moment to notice your body. If you need to make any adjustments in your position, make them mindfully and deliberately. Let it all be part of the meditation. In Yoga Nidra, you are invited to let go of all forcing, striving, and doing. In Yoga Nidra, we are encouraged to claim our birthright as human beings, not human doings. Now draw your full attention to the breath once more. With every inhale, notice an expansion around the center of your body. Now on your next natural exhale, pucker your lips as if you are about to exhale through a straw. And allow the breath to slowly release through these pursed lips. Continue with this straw breathing for a few more sets. Allowing the breath to release slowly and steadily. Notice that sensation of exhale. Now release the pucker of your mouth and resume normal breathing. Notice whatever you notice. On your next inhale, feel an expansion around the center of the body and continue to notice that expansion up through the ribs and chest. And then let go naturally on the exhale when it feels appropriate. On the next inhale, say the number 5 to yourself. And on the exhale, also say the number 5, silently or to yourself. On the next inhale, say the number 4 to yourself. And on the exhale, also say the number 4. Continue counting down at your own pace. And if you lose count, return again to 5 and begin again. Wherever you're at, resume breathing naturally, releasing any counts or any special patterns. Take a few moments to just notice, to be with the sensation of breath. To further deepen our meditation, I will ask you to scan the body. As I say the name of each body part, simply bring your full attention and awareness to that part of the body. Top of the head, back of the head, face, back of the neck, chest, both arms, stomach, back, waist, hips, both legs, both feet. Now notice your entire body together as one. From the top of the head down to the bottom of your feet. As you spend this time with your body, notice if there are any areas of holding or tension, anxiety or strain. Now, after your next inhale, make a deliberate intention to visualize your breath flowing to that part or area of your body. Continue with this pattern over the next several breaths. Allow your breath to fully move through the body to the places, parts, and areas that need the breath the most. As the breath continues to work its natural wonders in your body, allow any of this holding or tension, anxiety or strain to loosen, to dissolve, to let go. Here, you can let go of all doing, all forcing, all striving. In this place of deep silence and stillness, connect to the truth that being is your birthright. Being is your birthright. In this place of deep resting awareness, you are now invited to notice your intention once again. Embracing the fullness of your intention. Repeat it to yourself several times, as if you are whispering a prayer. Cradle this intention in your awareness. Hold it in the deepest center of your being. Rest into this sacred knowing. If there's an area in your life that needs to experience a sense of healing right now, notice that. Send the healing power of your breath, working together with your intention, to that area of unfinished business. Know that when it comes to deep healing, you do not have to force or strive. Notice whatever you are noticing. Now we will begin to transition from our formal meditation. Begin to invite gentle, small movements into the physical body. Perhaps wiggling your fingers or your toes. From those small movements, begin to explore some larger movements or stretches that feel natural and organic to help you fully awaken. And as you move, bring up your intention once more. Notice what it feels like to pair this internalized intention together with movement. Notice whatever you notice. So if you're lying down, I invite you to roll on to the side that feels most appropriate in your body today. And then hold there for a moment before propping yourself up into a sitting position. And if you're sitting down, continue to move in a way that feels healthy and nourishing in your body. Perhaps twisting from side to side. Now begin to open your eyes. Take your time with this transition. Blink them very gently to adjust back to the light in the space. And in a moment, you'll hear a gentle ringing sound. And I'll just invoke that or invite that as a signal of transition from our formal meditation back to our discussion. Please take your time with the transition from the meditation. Your eyes may still be adjusting to the light in the room, or you may need a little extra help with what we call grounding. So that could come in the form of touching your clothes, maybe touching some objects or touching the ground. Perhaps look around the room that you're in or the space that you're in and intentionally notice what you're seeing, hearing, maybe even smelling, or there's a taste in your mouth perhaps. Use the senses to help you fully come to a place where you feel awakened enough again to continue with your day. And as always, you're welcome to use a strategy like journaling, listening to music, whatever you need to do to help you sustain the benefits of your practice and safely proceed with your day. If you have any questions, please visit the Institute for Creative Mindfulness. And once more, thank you for practicing with us.
Thank you, Blake. Welcome back. So was this a practice that people are at all familiar with? I mean, it's guided meditation, but it makes use of that kind of parabola of tension and release and tension and release, and using it in a constructive way. So what did people experience in body or emotion?
I'm one who often takes a rest in the position that I'm in right now. Somewhat prone with my legs stretched out on a kind of a rocking chair, a deep rocking chair. And I found this to take me into a very deep relaxation, much more than I ordinarily experience. And so I think this is what I seek when I go into the rocking chair. And I really experienced something that I have needed in the past to relax through this exercise.
It feels like there's this point where the distinction between our animal selves and our spiritual selves gets almost like gossamer thin, and we're working on all channels, or just opening all channels, I guess. But how about others?
The tensing, that's not a part of my normal practice.
The what?
I said I enjoyed the tension,
Oh,
because then the release, it does emphasize that to gain one end of that tension relaxation, one can go the opposite direction. In other words, tension, to more fully relax then. So I thought that was something that I could integrate into my regular sitting.
yeah, that was very pronounced for me as well. It's not something I intentionally do. It's like constrict.
Right. Yeah. I was reminded of when I breathe in, I'm aware of breathing in. When I breathe out, and that very much was like the mindfulness of Thich Nhat Hanh.
Yes, yes,
His first of his 16 steps.
yes. Yep. And you mentioned Thich Nhat Hanh, and I did a program in mindfulness-based stress reduction that was taught by a follower of Thich Nhat Hanh. And actually, the mindfulness-based stress reduction is something that was evolved by John Kabat-Zinn, and it's like a multi-week program, but it makes use of a lot of the mind-body connection that both Buddhism and other traditional practices rely on, and that are now being lifted up by Western medicine. Like, yay.
I was in the car today for at least 5 hours. So I didn't really feel like sitting down.
Mhm.
And so I did my meditation walking around the room, and I found it was really adaptable to that.
Wow.
And I just stopped what I was doing to tense up or focus on a part of the body, but the calm, slow, constant voice just kept sort of bringing me back to that thread through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this is very similar to the meditation I'm going to do on Sunday. So I know of it as progressive relaxation.
Yeah.
And I used to do this with the kids at school as one of their favorite things to do. But I'd find there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I found this one with these animals that tense up and then release, and kids love to do that.
Mhm.
I liked when she had us breathe out, like where our mouths were straws.
Mhm.
And so that's the first thing I thought of, was like, oh, I can use this with
Yeah.
with kids. That'd be a really easy thing to do, even with water and bubbles,
Yep.
like controlling your breath and not controlling your breath. And also it helped me too, just be more aware of my breath. I didn't realize that I wasn't. And I also noticed places I was tense that I hadn't realized were tense. And I really liked when she said, "You're a human being, not a human doing." That really stuck out to me. And how we get so much in our head and are doing things, and we forget to just kind of be.
And I keep bringing back Peter Levine and his books. This is the one that I was using a lot today, Waking the Tiger. And he gives a lot of just short exercises that people can do. And when you were bringing up that one about, the straw and the blowing bubbles, I mean, there's one that he uses. It's called goldfish jaw. And it's just this process of working with the opening and closing of the mouth. And it brings on like almost unavoidable yawns, and it's just a way of understanding that connection, how intricately we are connected with breath and body and mind. And so, I mean, how does this relate to people, when you consider the idea that trauma is essentially stuck energy? And how do some of these practices and short exercises allow you to heal, or to help others heal?
I think that feelings are kind of live in your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's like a double doing it when you release, because you're not only releasing tension in your body, but you're releasing emotion sometimes. As I talked with this massage therapist once, and she said people get very emotional during a massage session, or can release different kinds of feelings.
Yeah, I think I had one massage in my life, and
Oh, get another one. I said, get another one.
all I remember is either like alternately laughing hysterically or sobbing
Yes.
for
Yep.
no apparent reason, but it
Out of the blue. Yep. Don't expect it. Don't see it coming.
had to be released.
Yeah.
And so that's that's where that animal and spiritual play together. I have a feeling we're almost at about time here. Any closing observations?
Any closing? Well, this is kind of random, but we were talking about having brain cells in your gut.
Yeah.
We watched a movie, and I don't know if you did, Trista, but one time we watched a movie at church, and I can't remember if it was Fellowship or what, and it was called One. And they did some research on the muscles in the heart, and there are brain cells in the heart.
Yep. Yep. So we're more complicated than we imagine, or at least, more than.
Dennis, I'm doing the same thing with my dog.
I know, right?
She loves to have her butt scratched.
Oh. Yes.
Maxim that says your biography becomes your biology.
Yes.
And
Who
it
said that? Who did you say said that?
I can't remember. It's one of those old monks that you read over.
Yeah.
Pardon? And it is just simply that the cells, right down to the cellular level, somehow have a memory.
Yep.
I can, as a musician, the things that I've learned go into the fingers on the piano or into the conducting gesture. And you can pull something out 20 years later that you really worked with, and those same gestures are immediately there.
Yep.
And so that's a part of that. The things that we do become the things that we are.
Right. And the lovely things such as music, and also the horrible things such as trauma.
Indeed.
Both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we are at time. So I just want to say that next week we're going to be having Bobby Simpson Epps speak with us. She is an African-American woman who has done like a huge amount of research and work with the adverse childhood experiences study. And she will speak to that, and also about the trauma and the healing from the African-American community perspective. And then the week after that will be Jim Rock, who is a Native American man, and I believe an astronomer and philosopher, and somebody who will speak to the history and the traditions, and like the sustaining traditions of the indigenous community, and how they have dealt with such an atrocious history of trauma. So come back for those. I appreciate you being here and listening and participating. And
I appreciate your organizing this and putting two presentations on.
Well, it's something I delved into out of self-preservation. So happy to share it. And
thank you very much, Maria.
Yeah, we will see y'all hopefully next week.
Yes.